Hey everyone, welcome to this product manager resume video. Today we are looking at the most common mistakes that product managers are making on their resumes. I have with us Candice, who is a resume coach, a resume expert. Candice, thanks so much for being with me today. Give us a quick background into your experience in the scary world of resumes.
Sure, I'm happy to be here. I have been in this industry a long time, coming up on 30 years. I was an executive recruiter for many of those years, so did a lot of hiring from that side of the desk, a lot of C-suite and board level searches. But for the last 14 years, I've been a coach working with job seekers to help get their foot in the door and make career transitions to kind of get into the companies and their dream jobs.
Great. Okay, well, let's crack on. Let's see some resumes. What are the mistakes that you're seeing come up again and again?
Sure. And I typically see about 8 to 10 resumes a day. So I've kind of gathered into a list of the four most common mistakes that I see. And the first mistake that I see is these highly stylized and designed resumes. So this one that I'm looking at right now is beautiful. This is a beautiful resume, but the biggest concern with it is that it's not going to get through the applicant tracking system technology. And we typically call that ATS, but that's just the technology systems that are in place that scan and pass through your resume as qualified or unqualified. And when you have a lot of pictures, photos, columns, tables, that sort of thing, those systems don't parse your resume well and pass them through.
So that's kind of someone's done that on, I don't know what, Adobe or whatever. They've saved
Yeah,
it as a
I believe this one
PDF.
was created on Canva, Adobe.
Right.
They make some beautiful PDFs, and there is a time and place for them, especially people that are in more like graphic design type fields might have this sort of resume as a leave behind or when it's getting directly into the hands of someone. But if you're applying through a job board, you want to have a clean resume without columns, without photos, and some real specific formatting just so that the technology systems can pass it through.
So because I'd be so proud if I managed to do that resume. But okay, so Google Doc, would you say better to just do it in a Google Doc or Word?
Yes.
Can you save it as a PDF from the Google Doc or?
There are plenty, if you search ATS compliant resume templates, you'll find all kinds of Google Docs and Word documents. And they're not going to be as beautiful as this, but they're going to be a simpler format. And you can still put some design. You can use a different font for your name. You can still do some things to stylize it and make it look modern, but they're going to be compliant for parsing into those systems. So I would always create it in Word or Google Docs and then convert it to a PDF. There's going to be some applications where they require the Word document, but unless they specifically require it, I like to send a PDF because it's going to be a cleaner version.
Yep. Okay, cool. Great. That makes a lot of sense. And that saves me getting all artistic on my next resume. What's next?
An objective statement is the next most common mistake that I see on resumes. And up here, to me, it really is kind of a waste of space that could be better utilized for a professional profile, a professional summary. This is your chance to grab attention. Sometimes this professional profile up top is all that's read before they dive into your bullet points. So instead of telling them about what you want, talk about the value that you can bring to the organization. Who are you? What have you done? You can include a couple key achievement metrics up here as bullet points, but really grab attention and tell them what you bring to the table.
Okay, so right at the top, before your work experience, rather than just one line objective, actually a few bullet points about, your experience and what you can bring to the table. Maybe answering some of those key questions that the recruiter is going to have, and trying to show some of the impact that you've had.
Exactly. Take your clues from the job description. Who are they looking for? What skill sets have they highlighted as important? And go ahead and make sure you touch on those and check off those boxes by letting them know that you're qualified.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Okay, no objectives, but instead a personal summary, I guess you could call it, right?
Yeah, personal summary, professional profile.
Professional profile. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. What's next?
Okay, this resume has a second point too that I see really commonly, and that is not having a skills section. And you can call this skills section core competencies, key strengths. You can name it whatever you want, but this is a great way to get some keywords into your resume. And really, it's a readable, easily readable way for recruiters and hiring managers to kind of quickly scan these words and see what are all your core skill sets, right? So, again, you want to take these clues from the job description. What specific terminology are they using? What skill sets are they looking for? And go ahead and create a couple lines or a few columns of about maybe 10 to 15 core skill sets that really kind of draw the connection between what they're looking for and what you've done.
Okay. So, and where would you recommend to put the skills section? Would it
Uh,
be after? It would be after the work experience, I guess, right?
you can, and resume writing is subjective. There's different formats. There's not just a black and white way, black and white way to do it. There's a lot of gray area, but I typically think it belongs either underneath your professional profile statement. You can have your professional profile, about 3 or 4 sentences of this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table, and then right below that have some key strengths and list them there. You can also put it at the very end of the resume. And another important note is and this is true for a lot of product and project managers, a lot of people in technology, sometimes they need, in addition to a skills section, what I call like a technology snapshot or some sort of a separate section that talks about the specific technologies that they're using. And this is really important, especially if the jobs that you're seeing and applying for are wanting experience in a certain technology. We want an expert in Adobe Illustrator or Workday, the Workday platform, whatever that is. You want to make sure that you have a technology section or in your skills section that you're listing those specific technologies and platforms.
Okay. And what's another mistake that you see coming up again and again and preventing people who should be getting callbacks to interviews from hearing that phone ring?
Readability is the point that I want to make on this one. Keeping
Okay.
in mind that resumes are typically quickly scanned and the information that they need needs to be very easy to find. So, the point that I want to make on this resume is that he has some fantastic information in here. He's done a really good job of putting metrics with his achievements, but they are just buried in all of these cluttered bullet points. And so, whenever you start getting large, big blocks of text, you want to look at doing some things to kind of break it up and make it easier to read. A simple solution to this here would be to group some of these bullet points under themed headlines, right? So maybe product management, and then have 3 to 4 bullet points under that, team collaboration, and then 3 to 4, bullet points under that. But the point being to kind of break up these big, dense blocks of text.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess often, I think the reason people do it like this sometimes is they want to pack as much as they can in there, right? And he's probably proud of every bullet point on there. But at the end of the day, it's better to leave out 5 of them, to make the ones that stay in there actually shine a bit more and make sure they're actually understandable and actually digested by the recruiter, right? Because there's no way the recruiter is going to read all these and actually take them all in.
It's intimidating to the reader.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to read a huge block of text. So that's an excellent point, and that you don't have to include everything you've ever done and pack it in there. It's perfectly fine to and in fact, you want to just hit the highlights,
Yeah.
And when people like this person have had a really long career, they've done a lot of neat things, but you don't have to detail every single one. Think of it more like a marketing piece, right?
Yeah.
And when I have someone that has a lot of bullet points like this, I tell them to sit back and think about the stories they want to tell in the interview. What points are you wanting to make? What stories do you want to tell to sell your value? And lead into those with your bullet points. And if it's not a story that you want to tell, scrap it. You can save it for later.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, great, Candice. Well, I think we've seen some good examples of what not to do. Is there a way you can show us a bit, maybe what doing it the right way looks like?
Absolutely. So this resume is an example of really everything done well and done correctly. And I'll just kind of quickly take it top to bottom and show you why. They start with a great professional profile that gives specific information and examples of their qualifications and strengths. They have listed a key expertise section where they have keyword optimized skills that align to the job description. Their professional experience is laid out in a simple and applicant tracking system friendly format. This format right here is typically best practice for how you want your professional experience to be formatted, with the company date and then job titles broken down below that. They've done, in the italicized text here, they've done a great job of listing the duties and responsibilities of the role and summarizing them. But then you'll notice that the bulk of this resume is actually taken up by bullet points that are key accomplishments. And they've put a nice headline so that it draws the eye to the accomplishment section. And then for each role, they have bulleted out achievements, and anywhere that they were able to, they put metrics with it, right? So instead of just saying they're leading a group, they say the size of the group. Instead of just talking about reducing costs or reducing things, they put percentages with it. So they've done a really, really good job here. They've focused more on the more recent and more relevant work experience. The older roles that were foundational and more junior and not as relevant, they've just summarized in this previous work experience section, which is a great way to not have those take up too much room with irrelevant information. And then they've listed all of their education, certifications, and affiliations. So
nice.
It's simple, but a powerful and effective resume that really gets all the things right.
Yeah, you can see the way that they're demonstrating the impact. I always talk about the X, Y, Z, like achieved X by doing Y as measured through Z. You don't have to follow that exactly, but yeah, as long as there's kind of the impact being shown that you can see here. And I like the way at the end, like they've listed those other roles, right? Because I guess there could be a situation where, you're applying for a product manager role in a company, maybe you worked in a similar company, right? But back when you were very junior, and you don't really want to take up space like talking about that role, but you list it down there, it doesn't take up any space, and it's still on there, it's still adding something to your experience story.
Absolutely.
Cool. Great. Cool. Well, that's been fun. I think that's going to be really helpful for people watching. And so, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that, and that will help you craft your resume. And if you do want some more help and some really tailored insights specifically to you, then click on Candice's link and book a session with her. Hello, I really hope you found that useful. If you did, you can like and subscribe, and why not come visit us at IGotAnOffer.com. There you can find more videos, useful frameworks and question guides, all completely free. And you can also book expert feedback one-to-one with our coaches from Google, Meta, Amazon, etc. Thank you, and good luck with your interview.